This is a review of Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. This game is a really good game. I wasn't expecting this game to be this good. I was expecting the game to be very mediocre, but I was pleasantly surprised because it was the other way around. In my opinion, this game, for me at least, is better than Walk Expedition 33. There are many reasons why, and I'm going to go into that later. I have never heard of this game in the past. It was in early access and it was pretty cheap. I bought it when it was still in early access and it basically cost me like half the total price. And even when the game has released, the price of the game is pretty cheap. If you clicked in this video, in this review, it's probably because you want to know how the game is woke. Because probably you're hating on me right now, you're probably really mad because of the title and the thumbnail of the fucking video, right? So I am going to get into it. I'm going to explain to you why Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon is a woke game. For me to qualify a game as woke, it doesn't need to be overboard, it just has to have any form of cultural Marxism. If you have anything, be feminism, LGBT, multiculturalism, or whatever the fuck, I am going to say the game is woke. I don't give a fuck if you don't like that. I am an honest person and I started making videos because I was tired of people not having the balls to say things as how they are, to say it how it is. So I am going to say it. The game is woke. How is the game woke? You have this Derrida tribe, which are basically barbarians. Picture them as the Norns from Skyrim. And the first woke thing that you are going to find is that there is a camp of these Derrida people that is led by a woman, and at the same time you're going to see that they have female warriors. There is a story in the game, there is a side quest of a woman that apparently is a victim of her husband, which beats her up. I don't want to spoil the whole quest, but all you need to know is that there is no way that the player can find out if the woman is telling the truth or not. For a game that is all about decisions, and it's a very good game about that, in this quest, for some reason, you can't explore more of the reality of what is happening. No, this quest is absolutely about a guy that abuses her woman. You can't save the guy. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the whole story of the side quest, but you can't save the man. He has a shitty ending. No matter what you do, you can't help the man. There is no way. I ended up killing the bitch too because I think she deserves it too. Then you have these stories that you find throughout the game that are accompanied by a picture that represents the story that is being told in these tales. And there is a story about two lesbians. The developers of this game have the audacity to make some of the Knights of the Round Table females. For example, there is Percival. And I know what the fucking fanatics, the stupid malicious cunts are going to say about this. They are going to say that they are not the actual Knights of the Round Table, that it's more like a political, like a diplomatic position, not really the actual Knights of the Round Table. So that means that anybody can become a Knight of the Round Table and name themselves as the actual Knights of the Round Table. They are doing this because they know what they are doing. These pieces of shit know how to get in. They know how to navigate around your gatekeeping, so they get in with their fucking agendas. So they essentially are not replacing Percival. They are not replacing him, but in a way you end up with the same result. You end up with a woman in the Knights of the Round Table as a knight that calls herself Percival. So it's the same fucking result. It's similar to how they do this with superheroes, like Iron Man and Ironheart. They just replace Iron Man with a black woman. There is a Wanderer female knight that confirms that there are more female knights of the Round Table, and you have a very interesting dialogue with that bitch.
In all this hurry, I forgot my manners. My name is Fillmore, but do not call me a lady. Though my father would probably prefer it that way. Some knights aren't too fond of having a woman among them. Why? I suppose I thought it would make me count. People notice a knight. They move aside when you pass. I read that even among the Knights of the Round Table, there were few women. Percival, for example. Oh, what a wonderful life she must have had. Yes, he's a bit... he never made it to the Round Table himself, so he pinned his hopes on my brothers. One ended up as a bodyguard, the other took priestly vows. That left him bitterly disappointed. And, well, he didn't have much belief left in a daughter, even if I've come much, much farther than they ever did.
So you can see that this is not an exaggeration. There is feminism agenda in this game. So as you can see, this bitch is a fucking feminist. There are 2 romances in the game, at least that I found. There is a romance with a woman and a romance with a man. Both romances can be done either by a man or a woman. But here is the thing, with the man, you can accidentally become homosexual just because you wanted to help the guy. And that doesn't happen with the women. It's very suspicious. There is gear that are basically women garments, but have great stats for a mage, and you are expected to wear this fucking gear if you're a mage build. There are some alternatives, but the reality is that these garments, these women garments, this gear is possibly the best mage gear in the game. I found 2 lesbian couples during my playthrough, and I bet that if I played more, if I completed more of the side quest, I will find even more. As you can see, this game has feminism all over it. This time around you don't get multiculturalism, maybe a bit of that with the interactions with the Delrita and the Camelosians. But other than that, it's pretty clean in that aspect. You are not going to see unexpected blacks in the game. There is LGBT and there is feminism. And the kind of LGBT that is in the game is the kind that pairs the best with feminism, which is lesbianism. So there you go. This is why the game is woke. Anyone denying this is woke, anyone denying this is cultural Marxism is a malicious cunt, period. Tainted Grail is not a replacement for the Elder Scrolls. If you're expecting basically indie Elder Scrolls, you're going to be disappointed, and not because the game is bad. You're not going to see these NPCs interacting with each other like in Oblivion. You're not going to see that. You're not going to perceive a living, breathing world. That doesn't mean the game is bad. It's more like a top-down CRPG, but in third person. It's like what About tried to be, but actually made right. This is more or less what you're going to get with this game. A third-person CRPG, not really a new or a replacement for the Elder Scrolls. This time around, I'm going to start with the bad of the game. I think the intro of the game drags a lot. It's a good starting zone, don't get me wrong, but it seriously drags. Enemies are very retarded, they reset like in an MMO if you leave their fucking zone. So if you go very far away, they are going to go back. and they probably are going to heal back to 4. Summons are as stupid as the NPCs. The facial animations and overall the look of the NPCs is kinda bad, and some even repeat faces. For some reason, the NPCs can push your character around, and sometimes you're even in dialogues, and if your own summons or if an NPC is walking around, they can push you, and you can't even do anything about it. It's very annoying and very immersion breaking. You get a wood cutting axe, you can gather certain resources in this game, but you can actually chop trees down. It's very disappointing. While you can walk everywhere, the game relies way too much in fast traveling. This type of games, it's always the same. Fast traveling is the meta, and games like Morrowind did fast travel well, in a very good way even. Because in Morrowind you can only fast travel via the fucking Zeppelin creatures and the Mages Guild portals, which isn't immersion break. You can get a horse, but I never actually got one. I don't know where you get that fucking horse, but I never got one. And it doesn't even matter because, like I said, you just fast travel everywhere. The fast travel in this game can only be done at certain points, but the reality is that you can fast travel from your bonfires, and it's not even hard to get the resources to fast travel, because these bonfires you can ignite them further and you will use this resource that I forgot the fucking name, that makes it possible for you to fast travel from your bonfire. Even with that limitation, it's not really a problem to do it. So, like I said, you will fast travel everywhere. I don't really like the world structure. The game world is divided into 3 big maps, and I would have preferred that it was a single, much bigger map than 3 maps, but it is what it is. The game does have certain fetch quests. Navigating the cities becomes really annoying because they have a lot of verticality to them, and the fall damage is really punishing in this game, so the cities lack alternative pathways to move quickly around them. You can get runes that you can slot into your gear, but they don't drop that often. They don't, and it's very annoying because I never even slotted a single rune into my gear. The game is very buggy and has a ton of issues with summons. For example, summons that refuse to attack certain enemies, which apparently they fixed in the latest patch. People experiencing constant crashes. I don't know if it's the game, but in Act 3 my PC shut down completely like 4 or 3 times. I never had that happen with any game before, and I think it's the game. And if it's the game, this is really bad. You need to respect people's hardware. This should be a priority to fix. If your game is shutting down your consumers' PCs, this is a priority, so you need to get your act together. Overall, the game is very janky. The game performance is atrocious compared to how the game looks. Supposedly, some people report that there is a lack of content in Act 3. I don't think that. I think Act 3 is actually very packed with content. Certainly, there are no big dungeons, big alternative dungeons like in Act 1 or Act 2, but Act 3 has a lot of quests, has a lot of content too. There is a lot to explore in that area. So yes, there is a drop in content in Act 3, but not as people are representing it. So don't be afraid, Act 3 does have a lot of content. Now, let's talk about the good of this game. The game reminds me of a few games. The game reminds me of Gothic, reminds me of Kingsfield, reminds me of Dark Souls, even Berserk, which is a manga, Legacy of Kain, and the lore of the game is amazing. And it doesn't even need elves or dwarves or anything like that. It's actually more interesting than the lore of the Elder Scrolls or the lore of Baldur's Gate. The world and the setting are pretty dark. The atmosphere is also pretty cool. The graphics, like I said, are not very good. They do look dated, but they give me this really nostalgic feeling. So even if they are not objectively good, for me, they look really cool. I personally enjoy the voice acting. There are a few that are kinda bad, but most of the time, I think the voice acting is really on point. Now, I am aware that I am Mexican, so maybe I am stupid and the voice acting actually sucks, but for me, it was great. The music is pretty fucking good. It reminds me of the music of The Witcher. There are some serious bangers in this game. The game has a few quality of life mechanics, like being able to craft directly from your storage chest, meaning you will have less carrying weight problems. The conversations with the NPCs are really detailed. You can ask a ton of questions, they will answer with a lot of detail. You can explore many topics with the NPCs and you get a lot of information from them. And with these conversations you can explore and learn more about the NPCs, more about their tribes, more about their customs, and overall more about the world itself. The game is really fun to explore. Picture it like Elden Ring. The most fun you're going to have in this game is going out of your way to explore every corner of the map and trying to find new things. And unlike shit games like Kingdom Come Deliverance that have barren maps that have nothing to find, in this game you are going to find plenty of stuff. There are plenty of caves, plenty of dungeons, plenty of side content, plenty of enemies, plenty of chests, plenty loot. So you will have a great time exploring this game, because in this game exploration is rewarded. You can kill any NPC in this game, even essentials. But essentials do have a protection that, don't worry, you can bypass. You just have to lower their HP to 0 and then you have to go near them and execute them. And when you do that, if the NPC is an NPC for a quest or you need an item from them, they will drop it. So don't worry about locking yourself out from quests by killing certain assholes that you don't like. The game involves real decision making. This is why I like this game a lot, because like in Witcher games, decisions have consequences and you have different endings that show the consequences of these decisions. The game, gameplay wise, is very rich in character building, from stats to skills to gearing. It has a lot of varied gameplay styles, like being a rogue, you can be an archer, you can be a mage, you can be a warrior, you can be a two-handed warrior, you can be a sword and board type of warrior, you can be a battle mage, you can be even a fucking magic thief, because you get a sneak damage bonus with magic too. One of the aspects that I value the most in games is their replayability, and this game has a lot of replayability with the decision making plus the character building. So this is a huge point. This is a huge positive point in my opinion. The game could be quite punishing at the beginning, especially in the hardest difficulty. You have seen the video I made about Asmongold complaining about this, but he's retarded, and we are not retarded, right? So we like this, we want this. We want this because we want to be rewarded for training your character, for getting stronger. Because in this game, when you are at the end game, you actually become a powerhouse. Doesn't matter what build you make. You will become really powerful. So don't be afraid. There is a struggle at the beginning, but if you keep at it, the reward is going to come, trust me. Overall, this game, it's a very fun game to play. Now, do I recommend this game? Even though the game is woke, even though the game is janky, I prefer it to WoW Expedition 33. It was more on my alley. It was better for me. I like it more. Now, I am not saying WoW Expedition 33 is not going to be Game of the Year, which probably is going to be, who knows, right? But it's a strong candidate. And I'm not saying WoW Expedition 33 is a bad game either. I gave it an 8. I gave the game an 8, so I think the game is good. The problem I have with WoW Expedition is the fact that the end game is really imbalanced. I don't like that. WoW Expedition, only decision making comes from your character building, and the game disrespects completely your character building at the end game, especially in the hardest optional bosses. So I don't like that. I don't like that I have to suddenly out of nowhere have to change my whole build just because I cannot beat a guy at the end game. I don't like that. And in this game that doesn't happen. The game respected my decisions, my character building decisions. This is why, in my opinion, this game is better, and also because I appreciate the fact that I can make decisions that affect the story, and that is a personal preference, of course. So do I recommend this game? So if you like what you hear in this review, but you didn't like the woke aspects of this game, maybe you should pirate it. It's actually a very good game, and that way you don't support the fucking woke garbage. If you don't care about the woke aspects of the game, you need to also think about if you can tolerate the junk. If you can live with some junk, then of course you should buy the game. I bought the game before knowing that they were going to infect it with woke garbage. So I already supported the developers. I want them to keep making these games, but at the same time I'm worried that they are going to put even more woke garbage in the next one. We will see. The final score of this game is a 9. Yes, I think the game is really good. Even with the bugs, with the junk, with all that shit, the game is really good and I would recommend it. But like I said, with the exceptions I explained before. You don't like the woke? Pirate the game. You don't care? Support the developers. Those are your options. I am not your fucking dad. I am not your cult leader. You decide for yourself. This game certainly won't be a candidate for Game of the Year, but it was a pleasant surprise. An actual entertaining game, which is actually fucking good. Too bad it was tainted by fucking feminism, by fucking woke and cultural Marxism. So it is actually tainted Grail, because it was tainted by woke garbage, by cultural Marxism. And with that being said, that will be all.